Ladies and gentlemen, we do welcome you back. Do apologize, we had a little technical difficulty. Want to make sure that you can see both poets. Again, my name is Sean Williams. We'd like to welcome you out to Monday Night Verses. This is our main event. If you did not see the first undercard, it was with Lyrical Faith and Live, a dope bout. We are now going to get into the main event, which is Mike Ting going against Alex Liu. To make sure that this works, we want to make sure that you guys share links, share the information. If you can't donate money, if you just donate and share to your following, we'll be happy to make sure that it works. Can everybody hear me? Okay, so we're going to get into our first round. Our main event. The coin flip was tossed. It will be Mike Ting who starts it off. So Mike Ting, again now, it is on you. Round one.
Mike Ting, I love your poems. They're so different, you know? Don't get me wrong. Those other poets were, but you just keep talking about stuff that happened way back then, and your story is just so new. This oriental struggle of yours is something I can totally get over. I mean, behind, just sit softer in my mouth, you know? Like my gums don't swell with guilt when I say your name, and your name, Mike, M-I-C, like a microphone. So clever. I too love taking a person's name and turning it into an inanimate object. Like I call my homie dog, but all the dogs ever had are dead. So I think the analogy still works, but you would know better than me, you poet, whipping up your story into something I can consume without the burden of shame sitting like a knife in my stomach. More poets should model their work after yours. Personally, I just love how you've taken your hardships and packaged them into these cute little poetic devices. And you're Asian, so it's not like you've really gone through anything that challenging. You and I are here for the same reason, the performance. To be seen for sight's sake. And while we're on the topic of creative expression, you'll agree with me here. I just think that there's a right way and a wrong way. A right way and a wrong way. Of doing this look. Between you and me, I'm just tired of being unsettled by things I'm not really responsible for, you know? And if I'm gonna be the target, I just wanna be entertained, okay? I think I'm entitled to a good show for starters. Can we please stop blaming all of us for the rise of white supremacy? I voted for Hillary, okay, and she's not a supremacist. Or can we cool it with the incessant reminders of this country's history of racial injustice? Like, where's the poetry in that? Instead, how about a beautiful metaphor on how you turned your 2-cent tragedy into $1 million perspective, or one of those nice list poems of all the ways you're actually going to better yourself? I just want to hear how you overcame, not who or what or where you came from. Listen, we get it. The colored child died, will die, is dying 1,000 deaths. That's not my fault. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't conquer this land. Don't get mad at me for judging. You asked me to, remember? Don't place the knife and cutting board in my hands and expect me not to make a meal out of this. And what is a poetry slam if not a feast for those of us hungry for the scraps your trauma left behind? So thank you, Mike, for offering up this pain that's so much easier to swallow. I hope you wear this 10 like a collar, a halo. You're a good dog, poet. We'll pass along my suggestions to your friends. Won't you? I'm too scared, shy, to tell them myself.
And hop right into it.
We just got finished with round one. Let's go, Alex. Lou, it is on you.
All right. When speaking Chinese, a word can mean different things based on how you announce it, right? So let's take the word ma, for example. When we say it like this, ma, that means horse. Now, if we take that same word and we give it a little bit of we say it like this, ma, that means to scold. And if we were to say mama, that means mom. So let's put it all together, right? Well, mama, the ma, I scolded my mother's horse. A lesson to speak with conviction or else not speak at all. This language is as much a dance of the tongue as it is a painting on page. Sentence structure goes as follows. The subject, then the setting, followed by the verb and object. There's an emphasis for the speaker to know when and where they are before they announce where they are going. A lesson on being grounded, on knowing your roots, on forgiving your history to allow space for the future. In an effort to teach me her past, my mother would not let me eat until I could ask for dinner in her native tongue. Even when I was like, but Mom, I'm so hungry. She replied, 我听不懂，应该学中文. Huh? I can't understand you. Maybe you should learn Chinese. Her way of saying, see, child born of our sacrifices. This is how it feels to be us, to pack a lineage in 2 suitcases and gamble our last names with the ocean, only to starve at the shoreline. Getting by with what she's got is all she's ever known, which is why I was the only English tutor my mother could afford. Since the age I could speak, I would finish my homework early so I could teach her what I just learned in class. And truth be told, y'all, I was not the best teacher, but neither does the colonizer's language make the most sense. See, English is composed of 26 letters, a crappy grammar system, and Americans who still have trouble with there, and there. Example, there are many times when they're taking what isn't theirs, like my mother's voice, like my heritage, like my culture forged the tattoos. See, in English, a word means different things based on context. The word immigrant from Europe means citizen, from anywhere else means illegal or a virus. See, it's not that English is so difficult to understand, it's my mother refuses to be a victim. Fact, Chinese is considered the hardest living language to learn. So when my mother is speaking English, she is downgrading a dynasty into a coffee shop for your convenience. She tastes colonialism and starts to stutter a syllabus for survival, her tongue breaking itself to impersonate America. When you hear her accent, I swear you better thank her for trying just last week, yo. My mother and I were watching a Chinese film with no subtitles. I didn't need to fully understand the dialogue to know that my mother was happy. That to her, Jackie Chan was the heartthrob that sounded like home and looked like a snack, like a home-cooked meal she didn't have to make herself. Like Big Brother made it in America too, mommy, and so can we. To anyone who's ever told my mother to learn English, check the statistics. Chinese is the most spoken language in the world. Maybe you should 学中文.
All right. First round is over. I'd like to apologize for the little bit of technical difficulties. I know that the names were switching around, but you know who is who. You know both of them are spitting at flames, and we're working it out as we are moving on to the second round. If you like that first round, give me them emojis, those fire emojis, the hearts, or whatever you have to do. So round two, we are about to go into it. Mike Ting, it is your turn.
This poem is about noodles. Actual noodles. And no, the noodles are not a metaphor for some long, winding, seemingly unending struggle that one only learns can be broken and one sinks their teeth into it. No. This poem is just about noodles and how much I fucking love them. There are few things in life better than discovering there's a new noodle joint in your neighborhood that's promoting an authentic Taiwanese beef noodle soup, realizing it's not some hipster fusion, vinyls on the wall, no Asians in the kitchen, took over some local mom and pop shop $23 bowl of bullshit, and instead, it's just you and a piping hot bowl of good old-fashioned noodles. And no, the piping hot bowl of good old-fashioned noodles does not represent the circular logic that justifies the displacement of the other ingredients who were here before the noodles and now spilling out over the edges because the noodles are the only ones who can afford to live here. No, this is not about that. This is just about noodles and how much I love to eat them. Look, I'll teach you. When the broth is scalding hot and threatens to singe your tongue anew, you can mimic what Asians have been doing for centuries and eat your way to a full stomach, taking in all of that cooled air to offset the heat serpentining down your throat, avoiding the looks and stares from those not versed in this ancient practice. But no, avoiding the looks and stares from those not versed in this ancient practice does not represent the shame you keep bottled up inside you. The jeers of your childhood bullies, their jokes about you filling your stomach in the way your mother instructed you how. No, this is not an analogy for the small ways in which you were made to feel small as a child. How you curled into the tightest ball of rice until laughter steamed its way out of you. No, this poem is just about noodles and the way life and food and culture run parallel in crystalline formations, beautiful like the way a mouth opens when it knows only good things are coming its way. Why is it that every time I try to write about the things I love, there's always some bowl being dropped? China shattered at my feet, I swear. If you let the egg, flour, and water knead together in your mouth, you can hear my grandmother praying to a God she doesn't know for a better life. If you sip the broth with purpose, you can see my mother arguing with the bank to not take our home away. If I can't write about something so pure as a bowl of noodles without letting the other ingredients in my life seep in, then let us mix it all together. Let us cook on our own terms. Let us say how much salt stays in these old wounds and how much we toss over our shoulder to keep the devil off our tracks. Sometimes the poem is a seance, an invitation to dine with each of our ghosts, but it doesn't always have to be. It can create life too. It can warm the stomach. It can stretch into any direction we pull it to the moment we finally learn to let it all go. Trauma is a dish best served in the past, yet it always has a way of making it back up our throats, into the ink that floods our pens, onto the pages we swear are hungry for something else.
All right, all right. Shout out to Trey1628. Shout out to Kokalani and all the other individuals who are in the comment sections. We are about to go still in round two, the second poem in round two. It is Alex. Do your thing, man.
Well, you look like my Taekwondo instructor, or like a thick Bruce Lee. No, hold up now, son. I got this friend, right? And you, I swear to God, right? You look just like her son. Oh, wait, no. Aren't you that guy that won the 2018 International World Poetry Slam? Yo, people swear they've seen me before in a train once. Or the man they should have loved long ago. That one's weird. Or the best friend they lost at war. That one was sad. So when my grandma tells me I look just like my grandfather, our conversation starts to feel like a bad joke. Like, what would she give to take back his heart attack, only to have her heart break at the sight of me? Like the universe said, well, this is what you prayed for. And suddenly, my hugs become grandpa's phantom limbs. And I wonder if it is a curse. to be reborn in the face of my ancestors, reminder of the once lost. My smile looks like an old wound, the cut I reopen every time I smile. Why? To be the offspring of immigrants is know even happiness is a privilege. And my depression says, I am loved only for the potential of becoming someone else they already look up to. And most days, y'all, I am not worthy of a refugee's reflection. But on my 18th birthday, Dad gave me one of Grandpa's leather jackets, whose sleeves I still can't fill, but insists I keep it anyways. Tells me, a gong used to wear this. He used to look so cool. And on days I feel I don't deserve every good thing that comes, I remember why I cannot die. Memories I have not lived are attached to my smile. I am still the reason Dad did not join Grandpa that night. He is still fighting for the man I will become. If I am my grandfather's reincarnation, I promise Grandma I won't be leaving soon. I will not die. I cannot die. Every day I'm reminded I look like someone else is living for, and I'm surviving for the day. I respond, yeah, I see the resemblance. And damn, I look good. Smiling bright like a new day. Because don't I look like an encore? Don't I look like a second chance? Don't I look like Grandpa never left? He just left me in charge.
Some of y'all guys were asking where was Sean William going, and I was wondering where Alex was going, so we were both wondering where we were going, but we're here, and that was a dope-ass set. So let's get that momentum going. That was the end of the second round. We are going into the third round. Mike, it is on you. Let's go.
Recently, my father started driving for Uber. Growing up, he'd tell us how he'd walk uphill both ways to school in San Francisco. By college, he'd learned the city like the back of his eyes, serpentine streets winding him to sleep. There was a time when this job might have been perfect for him. But now, my heart sputters at the thought of his last shift. Worked till 3 a.m., slept in the car, been up since 6, got home at midnight. My father works for Uber, but not long ago I caught him sleeping at the wheel. Eyes faltering like a speedometer, hovering above the red line. He's pushing 60 and I fear the parts of him that will give way first. If his hands will be the ones to betray his grip on reality, will his feet pedal him the courage to step into the car? For the last time, of all things, I hope it's his pride. This desire to prove he's still got a drive left in him. When he decides to press his luck to the steering wheel, I stitch a prayer into every dotted line that threads the long road home. Pray they'll keep him on the right side of this world for just another night. You see, my dad lives everywhere now. Because when you haven't had a steady job in decades, convenience and location are the first to disappear in the rear view. I tell him my place is always open. My couch, a welcoming set of arms to shoulder his weary head. I beg him to please, Dad, just stay here. Don't leave me tonight. And I remember the day he left us. How I never knew where he was, but I imagined him, always moving from one pickup to the next. My mother, the broke passenger he left behind. My father is an Uber driver. And some say I should be ashamed of this. How a corporation's wrongs speak for the thousands that they employ. And I wonder, when it is no longer convenient for us to love those who have carried us for so long, is it entitlement that uninstalls an app, a body, a father from our lives? To say who and what we can now live without is privilege, when the decision is between lifting your conscience or making the miles worth all the wear and tear, between staying in a bed of your mistakes or taking to the open road. I question if choice is as absent as my father once was for me. So no, I'd not debase him for this. Instead, my shame lies only in the moments my impatience surged at a father, new on the job, uncertain of where this path will lead him. And I am still just trying to find my way back to who we were before all of the distance I drove between us. Every route I took avoiding you, all the lights I let turn red in my chest as you sped off, Dad. I'm here now. Wait for me. I promise to pick up whenever you call. I'll ride shotgun. We'll leave all the baggage at home. You'll tell me of all the miles you traveled, places you've been, making your way back to me.
Well, damn. Shout out to Los Angeles, California, Birmingham, EPA, which is also known as East Palo Alto, or AKA East Palo Alto, Oklahoma City, Philly up in the building. Shout out to all the individuals who are watching this bout from all over the country. We appreciate you. We are still in round 3. Alex, Lou, we are about to bring the platform, the microphone to you. Do your thing.
When the courts ruled that Peter Liang, a Chinese-American police officer, would not be sentenced to prison for the murder of Akai Gurley, an unarmed Black man, all of Chinatown rejoiced. Families lit paper lanterns and filled the night with lion dance. Children played with firecrackers until the streets smelled like gunpowder. Every Asian marked their calendars a second Chinese New Year, an excuse to paint their doors with Akai's blood, and the streets were doused in red. When Peter Liang was spared, the doors read, 1 tragedy, 2 victims. But I've never heard the story of a scapegoat killing a black sheep, never known a slaughter to be a fluke, an accident. A good cop with bad aim still had his finger on the trigger. By ricochet or bullseye, a bullet always finds its way to a Black man's back in America. The mistake was still murder. Peter, you never did carry the burden of a nation. Your conviction is not akin to carrying a cross. You are no Korean Jesus. If anything, you're the Chinese Cain who killed Abel in an alleyway, slayed a brother of color as offering to a white messiah. His corpse, proof that the American dream can only exist if we become who we were born to hate, to believe that the silver lining is the sight of a bullet we finally get to shoot. Do you know the history of your forefathers? No, not the boat people who braved oceans in search for a better life. We are talking about America's first policemen, 19th century slave patrols, whose oppression of slaves was their definition of a better life. Is this why you wanted to wear a badge in the first place? To don blue, because dragon red felt like draping yourself in immigration papers. A reminder that this country would rather call you peril, call you rat, call you the bones laden in between railroad tracks, that you would rather garment in blood. That means you can lean on the very people that mistook your face for goat instead of the goat you claim to be. How well you do them proud, taking a black boy from his family and cry self-defense, that you are scared for your life. Now ain't that white privilege? Killing a black man while playing both the victim and the hero? The conflict between the Asian and Black community has always been prayer hands against raised fists. Asians know how to stay silent and play dead. Perhaps killing Black men is how the police teach them to learn our game. But your freedom is not justice, Peter. It is stepping in the boots of oppressors. It is taking the path most traveled and getting praise. Reminded that your face is a carbon copy excuse for the same problem, but you cannot cherry pick the gold in your skin to escape the blame either, though you are no longer welcome in my home. I can't help but notice a family resemblance. You look like everything I could be if I just played along.
Hey, why y'all clowning me? My bad. I know that I'm leaving, but I'm not leaving great poetry. I got a 4-year-old that I got to watch as well. I see y'all trying to play me like I'm SpongeBob and I'm out. But that was the end of the 3rd round. Make some noise again for 2 phenomenal poets. This is tough. I don't know how you guys are going to judge this one, but if you do want to judge it, make sure that you go to @Introverse Live, the storyline. We will have the polls up. This is a tough one, and these 2 poets are making it tough for you. So we are about to get into the 4th round. Keep the momentum going. Also, if you want to participate in this, throw it in the comment sections and hey, I want to go against so-and-so. Alex, if you want some smoke with somebody, put their name through, because that's how we find this out. It's all friendly competition. So with that being said, we will go to our fourth round. Mike Ting, it is on you. I will stay right here.
An open letter to the creators of Dragon Ball Z. You are the shit. For every ha that you blasted across my box TV, there are 100 that my brother and I shot back and forth across our empty hallways. For every spirit bomb, my hands too raised the skies and stayed there till I felt the world grow within my palms. We hid basketballs around the backyard in hopes of one day summoning Shenlong to our idol, Goku. A proud Asian man decked out in the flyest orange hammer pants, whooping bad guys all across the universe at a time when being Asian was synonymous with laughter. I felt my skin, not funny, but something to be feared yet now. As I look back on the days when going Super Saiyan was the greatest accomplishment a young Gohan could ever dream of, I can't help but wish that his transformation from a black hair, dark-eyed boy, to a blonde hair, blue-eyed savior, wasn't the dream of every Asian boy from here to the tsunami spaceship. I can't help but wonder, if Vegeta knew that going Super Saiyan would keep his eyes a dark brown like his father and his father before him, would he have seen that he had always been enough? If Gohan had defeated Cell in his natural black spiked hair, would he have grown up to love his reflection more than I did when you are young? And the world is everything a flashing screen can bring before your eyes. A cartoon is never just a cartoon, if you ask me now. Which I'd rather be, golden sand or raging animal with tail still attached. I will tell you, beast, for at least then my reflection will be colors that I recognize. You can have your manga eyes and your bleach blonde hero. Leave me young Gohan, fearing his father will never return home again. This I understand. Give me Krillin, spinning his insecurities until he learned to fashion them into a weapon. Show me a race of people unaware of the power within them, and I'll unearth this child I've buried in my chest, a boy so afraid of his own becoming. But this is not an apology. This is what it means to survive, to adapt, to evolve. Today, I'm every ounce the hero my childhood self wanted me to be, simply because I've learned to love every bit of this being. My power lies not in changing how others perceive me, but in how I perceive myself now. I walk with the weight of my world above me, wishing a motherfucker would try and test my spirit. And for those that would have me different, wish me any other way, know that all that you see before you, everything I've become, isn't even my final form.
So a drop of piss came out right when he said, I wish a motherfucker would. So I was a little scared right there. But we're going to keep moving into the fourth round. The second poet in the fourth round, he's coming back up again. Make some noise for Alex Liu. Let's go.
So in China, there's this dessert called yanwo, a cold soup made from melted bird's nest collected from deep inside caves. Now, after they've been cleaned and cooked, the nest tastes as sweet as it is medicinal. My culture believes that the soup it makes can heal anything from a cold to a cancer. Side note, these particular birds make the entire nest from their own solidified saliva. Meaning, someone right now in China, or my mother at home, is scooping a mouthful of repurposed bird loogie for a sick child to swallow superstition into recovery. And ain't that a fitting description for poetry? This art form that saves lives and promotes growth, but no one knows except those who've lived long enough to thank the author that saved them. See, I remember a time when I was so lost, I almost confused a dead end for a fresh start. So I dared the kitchen knife to carve a finish line into my wrist, until my poetry coach dug deep into the cave of my depression, found me covered in my own saliva and tears, told me I was not a failed mission, told me that I could channel my survival into something that feeds someone who needs to hear what I have to say. So now I literally spit a poem and heal a crowd. My tribulations repurposed with responsibility to the stage I step on, a plate of what I have to offer. I slobber soliloquies of survival. I swirl depression into honeydew. I know how the sweetness comes from a bitter past, so I humbly accept the morning sun with both hands, like every day that I am alive is a prayer I answered for myself. And the night spent crying was this vocal practice for finding my voice. My father is always losing his. There's some nights he gets so angry he couldn't speak. So I learned his lessons by the things he'd break, by the voice he cracked, trying to teach me how to survive. When I didn't listen, I'll yell back at him louder and louder and louder until I too became a spitting image of his trauma. And this is as close to getting to know my father as I will ever get. To be an immigrant in America is to be a caged bird singing swan songs in broken English. And how grateful am I to turn this blood into blessings, the saliva, and the scripture for my story and the stories of those before me. Say, remember, 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 remember. Watching the 2008 Summer Olympics on TV. When China was given the bid to host the Olympics in Beijing, they designed a stadium, the shape and structure of the bird's nest used for Yanwo. And for an entire month, the bird's nest stadium hosted world peace in its belly, where every country chose a carnival over carnage. And I wonder, if a swallow flew from its nest, turned its head towards the mainland, would it recognize the temple it inspired from its own spit?
Well, goddamn. This is going to be very hard for you guys to judge. It is a great spot where I am because I get to watch two phenomenal poets get it. This pen game by both of these individuals are ridiculous. And I'm a person who has nice pen game, but these two are putting it out there. The performance is great. We are so happy to have them, but we have one round left. We're about to get into it. It is the fifth and final round. So if you like what's going on, please make some noise. Put the emojis up. Shout out to the pin click. We see you guys in the comment section. We see you. Gang, gang. Thank you for coming through. And we're about to get the fifth round, the final round. And that will be started by Mike Ting. This is your last round. Let's go, man.
Clowns scare the shit out of me. Psychologists call it coulrophobia. You see, for most people, the altered features, enlarged feet, bright red nose, dyed hair, white face is comical, safe. But for those of us living with this phobia, these deformed humanoids come across as monstrous. When I was little, I used to get these nightmares. I'd be on a plane when all of a sudden a clown appears out of nowhere and throws the both of us out of it. Now, I'm not saying that all clowns are that bad. I'm just saying they make me nervous. Too many unknowns with these clowns. For example, did you know that clowns paint smiles on their faces that even if they're sad or angry or racist, you can't tell just by looking at them? Did you know that most clowns have other jobs? Like, you could be sitting next to a clown right now and you wouldn't even know it until they put their white face on, I'm telling you. These clowns hide in plain sight. Did you know that 53% of clown women voted for Donald Trump? Again, I'm not saying that all clowns are bad. Some of my best friends are clowns. It's just that even on the good days, I don't truly know what's going on behind that white face. I mean, did you know that the vast majority of homegrown terrorists in the United States are clown males? As well as 57% of sexual violence perpetrators. Hell, just look at the clown we have in office right now in the circus he's made of the white, clown house. Now, before you ask, one, no, I've not seen the movie It, obviously. Two, no, I'm not like the fair or the carnival or a NASCAR race, or any place you can find too many clowns, not enough color, 3 yes. I still get nightmares. I imagine a flock of white hands smothering my voice to the tune of clown laughter, crowd of clowns where they should not be in 2016. A clown craze swept California, terrorizing unsuspecting residents. That same year, a couple clowns on duty shot Alton Sterling for selling CDs. You see, for most people, the altered features, holstered gun, bright metal badge, buzzed hair, white face is trustworthy, is safe, but I've learned you can't trust the clown with too much power. What is it with these clowns in power, clowns empowered to have the last laugh while taking the last breath? Clown power is the uncanny ability to find humor in death and enslavement. Makes a mockery of our most basic human rights. It is the scariest thing I have ever known. How can you be afraid of clowns, they ask. Their white skin, shining, fearless. They're just people like you and me. I paint the safest smile on my face and tell them there are some phobias you just cannot explain, especially to those with nothing to fear.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you walk off your poem in your lap. So give it up one more time in the final round for Mike Ting. That was his last poem of the evening. We thank everybody who came out. We are not finished. We still have one more poet. I see the people in the comment section are giving love. We love what's going on. If you like what's going on next week, we won't have our Introverses. We will have Introverse Live. We are bringing that back. We'll have Obi West and Shannon Gabriel and a whole bunch of other individuals as well, hosted by my brother, Prentice Powell. So if you like what's going on, please support next week at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are now with the final poet in the fifth and final round. He will take you out as he's been bringing you in with heat. Make some more noise for Alex Liu.
Hey y'all, I'm still here. I'm still here and will be to the end. Because when I write, I fight with a pen. I stem from a long line of silent men who spoke with their fists and pain in their bones, y'all writing my stories in stone. The quietest way I know to be loud, to hold history in foreign lungs, breathing the breath of broken tongues. I am the sum of every hour of sleep my father lost to keep food on the plate. But beyond it all, I am here. And I remember, beyond it all, I am here. And I've survived these few years of uncertainty, this limbo state. Is too young to be a man or too man to say a child. You'll see, finding myself has been the hardest scavenger hunt I've ever played. And nowadays, my eyes get heavy, trying to carry a luggage full of my family's hopes and dreams. There's a kind of weight my father is familiar with. He does not know that it's something to be proud of or scared for. But beyond it all, I am here as an ode to my mother and father, ode to the people who brought me here. Now, to all that poetry and Introverse Live, ready to hear my voice, who's hoisted me as a leader with no game plan but the guys I have around me, the privilege of a stage as witness to a path I paved for myself, and a home I make for my peers. You know, I tell them, hey y'all, I don't have much, but I have ears as open as these arms, ready to embrace a stranger and call them friend. I call my friends brothers, sisters, homies. I try to pronounce their full name, no matter the language of origin. I tell them I love them, that they're important. Because I remember a time where I didn't hear that enough. I remember feeling like I was never enough. A partner telling me to never speak up. A father telling me I'd never be loved. But you know what? Beyond it all, I am here. And I remember the conversation that saved me. The mentors that spoke purpose into my soul. So I'll hold their lessons. In every page of my poems, I learn to speak truth with a flick of a tongue. I teach my friends to enjoy each heat of the lungs, our eyes, each a piece of the sun. Oh, if you'd only see where we're from, you'd be surprised. But what you see us become be the reason why people start to drop jaws, watch haters play hopscotch while you run the marathon, make them press pause and rewind, trying to find what you did right. Remind your peers that they are not a lost cause because you are not a lost cause. You, the symphony of an ocean, the music of a movement in motion. And you can make this moment last a lifetime. This world did not know what it was in for. When it birthed you from this earth, you should know what you were. I tell this to my friends. I tell this to my friends. I tell this to all my friends. I tell them. I climbed a mountain once. Discovered how easy it was to let go. Let the pavement catch my fall. I tell them that I survived that day. That my poems paint the portrait of a boy who lived, who is alive, to tell a story of family trauma and friendly joy, of an America still trying to understand his identity. I tell them that I survived. Beyond it all, I am here. Beyond it all, I am here. Beyond it all, I am here. We are still here.
If you like spoken word poetry, throw them hearts up. If you love dope pens, throw some hearts up. If you love Alex Liu, throw them hearts up. If you love Mike Ting, throw them hearts up. If you love Introverse, throw some hearts up. This was a phenomenal bout. I mean, I want you guys to understand where we came from. We started off with Black Chakra and Ed Neighbor. We went there from Prentice Powell to Breeze. From there, Matthew Cuban to Tiana. From there, we went to Anita with Yao, and then from there we are here. These are phenomenal poets, and we thank each and every one of them for giving their time to be on this platform, to give their work, their blood, sweat, and tears. So thank you very much. You guys have a hard job. My job is easy. I just gotta listen to great poetry. Now you guys have to go to our Introverse Live storyline and vote who won this one. I don't know. I'm all good with a tie. I'm all good if we could go overtime because I know they have great pockets, but still, thank you guys very much for telling people. Tell a friend. We're going to have this where you can have a link. So tell a friend, tell an enemy. We'll talk shit about them. It don't matter. We just want to make sure so many people can come through and listen to this great poetry and advance the culture. So before we go, I want to say, shout out to the All Deaf Digital's team. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Shihan, as well, the Poetry Lounge collective crew. Shout out to my team. Shout out to Masterpiece, Blues, Prentice Powell, Black Chakra, myself. We are the Dope Poetry Collective called Introverse Live. Shout out to everybody who was in the comment section. And of course, because I didn't do it last time, shout out to Liv and our other individual. Damn, I just went blank right now, but I'll know to take care of it. So Lyrical Faith, I'm sorry, I almost got your name messed up, but we have you as well. Thank you very much for handling your business in our undercard. And we want to also thank these two individuals. So Mike Ting, how can we follow you? What's your Cash App? What do you have on deck? It's your turn to speak. Want to make sure he's off the archive.
You can follow me on IG at open_Mike, MIC_Ting, Cash App, Mike Ting, MICTING. I just want to also give props to the Introverse Live team and All Deaf for throwing this together and inviting us. It's a great honor to be here. Shout out to Alex, of course, for bringing it. And also just want to take a moment, as an Asian American, as Chinese American, East Asian as well, really stand up and stand in solidarity with Black communities right now. I really think that for the Asians who are watching this, if you didn't catch Alex's third round poem, the Peter Young piece, just listen to that, because that pretty much says everything on my mind, times 10. So that shit, just listen to it. Yeah, we gotta be in this together, and I'm just super appreciative to be in this moment and space with you guys. So thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. Yes, and we will make sure, because we will replay this bout again and again and again. We will repost that, so make sure you get all those rounds. But like Mike said, make sure you hit that third round as well. Alex, we appreciate it. We were a little nervous because you was on the road and we didn't know if you were going to be spitting while driving, and I don't know if that's legal, but we have you here, both great energy. I want to also say this. Alex, while he was in competition mode, he is like myself. He is a fan of this work. So while Mike was busting, he was like just giving love. Both of these poets, I know that there was some kind of rumors of so-called beef or whatever. These guys wanted this. They wanted to be on this platform together, so we appreciate it. And Alex, I love your energy, how you were just being a fan of your opponent because you love the art as well. So how can we follow you? What's your Cash App? What do you have next?
Yeah, appreciate you, Sean. Yeah, y'all can find me at Alex Liu Poetry on all socials, Alex Luu Poetry. That's also on my website. So if you want to see my work and videos that I got up there, you can check me out there. And yeah, shout outs to Introverse Live and All Deaf for having me on their platform and trusting us, and celebrating voices within the spoken word community. And yeah, I'm just super hyped because me and Mike Ting, we know each other for a little bit now. Just being, the few Asian poets in the scene, and so to be going up against him, like he's an inspiration for me. And so I was really grateful and just happy to share a stage with him because I've been wanting this for a minute. Not gonna lie, people get confused with each other, on some real stuff, So for us to be face to face, just sharing Asian American work, it's beautiful, and it's something that I was, it's a dream come true for me, really. So again, thank y'all to the team for having me and Mike out here. Yeah.
And I'm not a hater on any other platform. I think that we all as platforms should be supporting each other. You have a bout that's coming up with Pen Click. Let's talk about it.
Oh snap! You peeped that? Okay, yeah. I got a poetry clash. It's a one-on-one with Alex Alfaro over at Pen Click, and you can check us out this coming Wednesday at 8 p.m. PST. And so me and Alex Alfaro are going head to head. It's a different kind of format. It's different from Slam. We're going like head to head with like brand new pieces written off prompts that the Pen Click team gave us. And then there's short poems. They're like a minute and a half, and so it's like really quick as well. But it's a great thing that they're trying out, and I can't wait to see how they try to expand spoken word and the platforms in which they bring it out. So definitely check me out there, going up against Alex Alfaro this coming Wednesday at 8 p.m. PST.
See, and that's what's up. We want to make sure that we shout out all the collectives that are doing things for the art. We want to make sure everybody is known. So the Poetry Lounge tomorrow with their open mic, there is a Sweet Spot that has something that goes on, I believe, every Thursday. We have something, an open mic Wednesday, hosted by Black Chakra. Friday, we have another open mic hosted by Masterpiece. So I want to make sure that you guys can get out to all these open mics and support. We want to get their numbers up. We want our numbers up. We want to make sure that everybody gets to hear these great, phenomenal poets. So again, my name is Sean William. It was a pleasure to be your host, walking out, checking on my 4-year-old son, but still being able to listen to these dope poets. I hope that you enjoyed what we had. Send us DMs what you like, what you didn't like. Send us what you want to battle against, who you want to battle against, and make sure that you go to those polls and make sure that you vote for which poet, which is going to be hard as shit, but which poet you felt won. I felt the culture won. This was another great bout after another great bout, and we can't wait to keep this going. Next bout, because we still have the Introverse Live, but our next head-to-head bout in 2 weeks will be Stephen Willis against Kyla Lacey. So it is still, we are going with the smoke. So with that being said, thank you very much, Introverse Live, the All Deaf Digital and Poetry family. I am your host, Sean William. Everybody be safe. Be safe out there, mentally and physically during this pandemic. Thank you. Good night.